The trade deadline has come and gone, but the fallout is just beginning for the Golden State Warriors. Fresh reports reveal that the franchise stood firm on their stance regarding Jimmy Butler, explicitly refusing to entertain any trade discussions even after his season-ending injury. We are diving deep into why the front office kept their star locked in and what this means for their future championship ambitions.
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to prop it up? Meet the Pop Sockets phone grip with expanding kickstand in black, your new must-have accessory. Don't miss out. Grab yours today. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
But even with Butler in the fold, the Golden State Warriors are facing a harsh reality check. Analysts are pointing to 5 massive flaws, from age to a lack of athleticism, that are currently crippling the team's ability to keep pace with Western Conference powerhouses. This roster isn't just treading water, it is fighting to survive, and we are breaking down exactly what needs to change to save this season. The concerns surrounding the Golden State Warriors run deep, specifically regarding their reliance on aging veterans like Steve Kerr, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. With the team struggling to compete against younger, faster squads like the Oklahoma City Thunder, the front office faces their most critical summer since 2010. We will examine why current minor tweaks are simply not enough to reclaim their status as elite title contenders. Finally, the biggest question of the summer. Is it time for Steve Kerr to pack his bags, or should he stay at the helm of the Golden State Warriors? Fan debates are hitting a fever pitch as the team navigates one of its most uncertain eras in recent history. If you want to keep up with every twist and turn of this off-season drama, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest updates. Imagine having one of the most valuable trade chips in the NBA sitting on your roster, yet refusing to deal him even when his season ends in catastrophe. That is exactly the position the Golden State Warriors found themselves in regarding Jimmy Butler at the 2026 deadline. Despite the rampant speculation that Butler's massive contract would be the golden ticket to facilitate a blockbuster deal, potentially for someone like Giannis Antetokounmpo, insider Jake Fisher has confirmed the truth. The Warriors never even entertained the conversation. Even after Butler suffered a season-ending ACL tear in January, Golden State stood firm. It is a bold stance, especially considering his $54 million salary was the perfect mechanism to balance the books in a star-level trade. With Steph Curry off the table, the front office essentially locked themselves into a path that bypassed a major overhaul. Instead, we saw them pivot to a deal involving Kristaps Porzingis, while Draymond Green's own trade rumors left the veteran feeling notably uneasy. So, where does this leave us? The numbers prove that when Butler is healthy, this team is a genuine force, holding a 46-22 record when he's on the floor. The question for the offseason is simple. Do they double down on the chemistry that won 23 of 38 games this past year? Or does the front office finally decide that the win-now window requires sacrificing Butler to secure another superstar? It is a high-stakes chess match that could redefine the Kerr era. If you want to keep up with every twist in this Warriors saga, hit that subscribe button. At the end of the day, loyalty is a rare currency in the NBA, but is it enough to win another ring, or is it just delaying the inevitable? Is this the end of the dynasty, or just the most painful wake-up call in Golden State history? The Warriors just wrapped up a season that looked less like a title run and more like a slow-motion crash. We're talking about a team that's too old, too small, and, let's be honest, completely devoid of the athleticism needed to hang with the new kings of the Western Conference. If you're a Dubs fan, the math is brutal. 12 wins against 23 losses to top-tier Western teams. That isn't just a slump, that's a structural failure. CEO Joe Lacob and GM Mike Dunleavy are facing the most consequential offseason since they bought the team in 2010. This isn't about adding a piece like Kevin Durant to a team in flight. This is about full-scale rescue. The core is aging. Steph is 38, Butler is 37, and Draymond is 36. You simply cannot expect that trio to carry the load of a full 82-game grind plus a deep playoff run. The front office needs to stop treading water and start hunting for an infusion of youth that actually has all-star potential. Then there's the size issue. The rest of the West is physically imposing, while the Warriors look like they're playing a different sport. They're dead last in total dunks and near the bottom in shots at the rim. When you can't penetrate the paint, you're forced to jack up threes early in the shot clock, which is exactly why the offense hit a brick wall the moment Steph or Jimmy went to the bench. Steve Kerr was vocal about the lack of players who can actually break down a defense off the dribble, and the numbers back him up. The roster just doesn't have the wiggle or the bounce to punish anyone. To make matters worse, the accountability gap is staggering. The turnover problem wasn't just a mid-season hiccup, it was a team-wide epidemic. Kerr's usual fire seemed dampened, likely because he realized that once you bench one underperformer, there's nobody left on the bench who's actually better. You can't build a culture of winning if there's no consequence for handing the ball to the opponent 20 times a night. Finally, the secondary scoring is non-existent. When Curry and Butler aren't there, the scouting report for the Warriors essentially says, "Let them shoot." No one else stepped up to take the mantle, leaving the offense to dry up the moment the stars sat down. If the Warriors want to compete for a title, they need an impact player who can carry the scoring load, not just another role player. What do you think? Is it time to blow it up and rebuild, or can they patch these holes with one or two massive trades? Drop your take in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow the Dubs Talk podcast for all the latest updates. The roadmap to redemption starts now, but the margin for error, it's completely gone. Is this the end of the dynasty, or just a desperate call for a rebuild? The Golden State Warriors aren't just hitting a rough patch, they are facing an existential crisis. After a brutal 2025-26 campaign, it is crystal clear that this roster is too old, too small, and simply not fast enough to compete with the modern, high-octane West. If you've been watching them get out-hustled by the Thunder or out-muscled by the giants of the conference, you know that a few minor tweaks won't cut it. This is a rescue mission, not a tune-up. First, we have to address the elephant in the room: age. With Steph Curry at 38, Jimmy Butler pushing 37, and Draymond Green at 36, the Warriors are relying on a core that is running out of gas. They need a transfusion of young, all-star caliber talent, guys who can actually contribute tonight, not in 3 years. Next, size matters. In an era where the league's top contenders are fielding lengthy, athletic wings, the Warriors are consistently the smallest team on the floor. Without that elite speed or the death lineup discipline of old, they are essentially fighting with one hand tied behind their back. Then there is the offensive stagnation. Steve Kerr has admitted that without Curry or Butler, there is nobody on this roster who can consistently break down a defense or get to the rim. Being dead last in dunks while settling for early clock threes is a recipe for an early vacation. Of course, the turnover epidemic doesn't help. Watching this team throw the ball away night after night suggests a lack of accountability that would have been unthinkable a few years ago. Finally, the secondary scoring has been non-existent. When the big two sit, the offensive production craters, leaving opponents with almost nothing to worry about. The front office, Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy, have the most consequential summer since 2010 ahead of them. If they fail to bring in a true impact player to support or eventually replace the aging trio, we might be watching the last chapter of a historic era. What do you think? Should they blow it up and start fresh, or is there still enough magic left in this core to make one more run? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to follow the Dubs Talk podcast for all the latest updates on this critical offseason. Sometimes, the hardest part of being a fan is admitting when the glory days are fading into the rearview mirror. Is the dynasty officially dead, or is Steve Kerr just the latest scapegoat in the Bay Area? The Golden State Warriors are at a crossroads that has their fan base absolutely torn, and today we are diving deep into the fiery debate. Should Steve Kerr stay or should he go? Welcome back to the channel. Before we break down the drama, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. Is it time for a coaching change, or does Kerr deserve the chance to rebuild? The narrative surrounding the Warriors has shifted from championship contenders to what went wrong faster than any of us expected. We are looking at a roster that has defined an entire era of basketball, but lately, the chemistry feels off and the rotations look questionable. Some fans are pointing the finger squarely at Kerr's coaching decisions, arguing that his loyalty to veteran players is holding back the team's evolution. On the flip side, you have the loyalists who maintain that Kerr is the heartbeat of this organization and the only one who truly understands the championship DNA required to win in the West. It is a classic battle between nostalgia and the harsh reality of a league that never stops changing. But the truth is, moving on from a coach of his caliber is a massive gamble that could define the franchise for the next decade. Are the Warriors suffering from a system that has finally been figured out, or are we just witnessing the natural decline of a legendary group? Whatever side of the fence you are on, the pressure in San Francisco is boiling over. I want to hear your take. Drop a comment below with your honest verdict. Thanks for watching, and remember, in the world of sports, yesterday's hero can become tomorrow's memory in the blink of an eye.